Donna Rotuno is joining us now, Fox News contributor and criminal defense attorney. It is hard to believe something like this was able to happen, considering especially that friends of the victims said that these teens were complaining about this stalker. This was Tammy Carbajal, who said she made complaints and nothing was done. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. It absolutely is. How did this happen?
First of all, I think we have to talk about the mental health crisis in this country. Clearly, nobody acts this way if they are fully with us and there. I think that's number one. Number two, the fact that these complaints have gone unanswered, I think is absolutely horrific. But again, we look at these restraining orders, and restraining orders are only as good as the paper they're printed on, because you can't reason with the unreasonable. So if you get a restraining order against a person who's mentally not there or with it, you're in a position where they don't understand either the gravity or they don't care. And the fact that you have somebody sitting out in front of your house and you're claiming, making a report and nothing is being done is just unforgivable. Unforgivable.
Hey, Donna, it's John here. Your colleague Josh Ritter was on Fox and Friends this morning. He thought that this was a real failure by the authorities. Listen to what he said.
It sounds like a failure on the part of law enforcement. 3 months. 3 months he's sitting outside of their house. They have to go about getting a restraining order themselves. Where are the police? Where's the involvement? Where's anybody trying to prevent this? And now it leads to this incredible type of tragedy.
We don't know if the police went by his house. I don't imagine that they did. Did the police talk to the parents? Why was this left to the Neotis family to try to take care of this all by themselves? Why wouldn't law enforcement step in to help?
Well, you're absolutely right. Why wouldn't they? And that's a question they're going to have to answer, especially if complaints were made. I know I did see that one of the accused family members is a police officer. Mm-hmm. So who knows if they tried to go through him. I think communications, again, as we've talked about in other cases, communications between parties are going to be extremely important to see what the police knew versus what they did and versus what they didn't know. And if there was a failure by law enforcement to protect this girl after she already did everything she could do to protect herself and now her friend as well, this will be a catastrophic failure.
Certainly, this brings up the thought that, so many police departments should go through their protocol in matters like this, but also we need to make sure that we have the resources to answer these calls and to help defend these defenseless little girls, especially if they were speaking up and saying that they were seeing something.
Absolutely. And as somebody who has lots of goddaughters, I can't even imagine a situation where somebody felt like they were threatened in such a way. And I'm sure law enforcement looked at this if they were involved and said, oh, they're young and this is just silly love, but not realizing the depth at which someone is willing to go if they're not getting what they want or if they're not mentally stable.
Yeah.
You mentioned that family member that's a police officer. It's actually the police chief of neighboring Westfield. Mm-hmm. His name is Christopher Bataloro. Here is what he put out on the police department's Facebook page. He said, while social media has made it known that the accused is related to me, he is not my son and not a member of my immediate family. I want to be clear, as loud and as firm as possible, that in no way do my wife, children, or I condone, defend, or excuse the actions that caused this terrible and tragic loss of life. I saw one article that he and his officers actually responded to this ramming incident and saw the two girls lying there dying on the pavement. But you wonder, I know that maybe he was a bit of a distant relative, but if the police had been contacted, if there was a restraining order against this 17-year-old, who again is not being identified because he's a juvenile, and there may be people who think, well, maybe he should be charged as an adult. But if all of this was going on, would it not come in some way, shape, or form, Donna, to the attention of the police department that responded to this horrific incident?
Well, you would absolutely hope that it did. And now that's why we have to look at what the communications are in terms of what they did know versus what they didn't do. And if they tried to back channel or tried to use his relationship with law enforcement in a way that sort of tried to mitigate this without actually arresting him or having any consequence, time will tell if that's really what happened.
3 months, a neighbor said, this stalker was parked outside one of the girls' house. Just incredibly sad. They both died at the hospital after they were taken in. Donna, thank you for joining us on that.
Thank you, Beth.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.